Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for accepting to be the first guest for this podcast. So first of all, I'd like you all to introduce yourselves. So I'll start with Aiva.
Hi everyone, my name is Aiva. I'm representing Riga from Latvia. Riga is the first community in Latvia who started to empower women to go into tech. Right now we have grown, and we also empower society to use tech altogether and help them to learn what is needed in their profession.
Nicolas.
Hello, so I'm Nicolas. I'm from France, from a village called Arcachon, and I'm a consultant and an entrepreneur. I've been involved in AI since 1996 when I helped make the Aiva product, Aiva robot, with AI, and I also started 26 startups, which I'm involved still in 7 startups in terms of being involved on the board of these 7 startups, mainly in healthcare and AI.
Thanks. Jowita.
Hi. My name is Jowita. I'm from Poland, Warsaw, and I have at least 4 different hats, I would say. First is, and I'm really proud to run an NGO, which is called DigitalEU University. We teach about competences of the future, basically everything about digital, to underprivileged, like young women from foster care, also to schools and teachers. So the size of the project is really big because we address around 80,000 kids every year with our programs. I run also a company which is called DigitalEU University. We have one of the most important conferences in the region, which is called Masters and Robots. So we talk every year about what's going on in tech and how it's going to influence our world. I'm also DigitalEU Ambassador and Singularity University Ambassador for Poland. I run podcasts, and that's basically this.
This morning we heard a lot about AI in the first session on the digital decade, and then of course a dedicated session on AI. What was your first impression, if I may, or something which sort of surprised you? Maybe I start with you. You've been in AI since 1996, so if there's something which sort of came out and struck you, or which made you think?
Something that made me think is the fact that back in 1996, when we first started with the first robot with AI, never ever would I thought that AI would be used for so many things today. So that was the first thing, but that's, because I'm old and I can talk about back 28 years ago. But what I can see with the AI Act and what's made it's really, us Europeans are very lucky because we're protected. We're protected by a legislation that is all about innovation, that's about also considering risk, that's about transparency, and that's about trust. And that has really made my guts feel very good, and thought that we're very lucky to be Europeans, and I'm hoping that other countries are going to follow what we're doing today.
Jowita?
I had initially 2 thoughts after today's morning. One was that I was impressed with the amount of knowledge that the presenters had about AI, which is an extremely broad topic, and how smart is the regulation that was done here in European Commission, because it is in such a fast developing environment, it is very difficult to regulate something. So the rules and regulations, and they are based on values also, that impressed me a lot. But on the other hand, I think no one knows about that outside this door. So we maybe are aware of the fact what is going on with AI regulations, but no one outside, no one in Europe, not normal citizens still understand even what they can, what they cannot. And it's the same about DMA and DSA. So I thought that our huge role of all of us who are present here today is really to talk about it widely to our communities, because it needs to be spreaded.
And in your case?
I wanted to say that it's not that bad that they don't know. The main thing, it exists. So again, as my colleague, I was really happy that I am European, that I knew that there will be regulations who will be safe also for me, who will look after me. And I'm more impressed that I did it in such a short time, to be honest. Last year it was the big boom of AI, everything is AI. And of course I started it sooner, but still in about a year from the big boom, there is regulations. And we know that we will know what to do and how will it happen. At least from a consumer perspective, I feel safer that I know that my data is also safe, not only the GDPR, but also from AI perspective. I know that I will be safe, my colleagues will be safe, and that at least in Europe, I feel much, much more safer.
Safety and risk is a very important factor of the AI Act, which will come into effect. How important is this? And it seems like it's becoming, in a way, sort of a benchmark of what we do in Europe. So we've had that with data protection with GDPR. Now we also have it with DSA, cybersecurity. So trust sort of is always in the center of our policymaking.
Oh, that's basically what we can do. We are rather not the market that it's extremely innovative in terms of technology, but we are best in regulation. So I think we do what we are best at, and also as a single market, we are 450 million, people. And we can be a certain interesting opponent for the big platforms that are coming to our market. So that's obviously what we do as first, because on the other hand, we are not focused entirely on innovation. But that's a tricky thing on the other hand, because we have to really build this regulation in a very smart way, not to limit the amount of innovation we have as a single market or in separate countries, because I think that's the biggest threat we all in Europe have when we talk about regulations. That yes, we are proud to have them, but we don't want them to limit the amount of new projects, startups we can run.
Yes, in terms of safety, what's really important to understand is that AI is a tool, and it's a human augmented tool. I always give the image, and during my conferences, I say, when you look at a car, are you scared of a car? And everybody in the room say, no, I'm not scared of the car. You're scared of the driver of the car, right? And it's the same thing with AI. Are you scared of AI? No, you're not scared of AI, because AI is built by men, is built for humankind, for augmentation of humankind, and to help avoid mundane tasks. And here is the same thing. So what Europe has done is fantastic, because like with cars, you have rules that drivers have to follow. And with AI, we have rules that we have to follow. AI is not a revolution. To me, it's an evolution. It's something that started back in the 50s when Alan Turing starting his test that we still use. And then in 56, it was used at Dartmouth for the first time. So you're talking about a very long time since AI started. And today, Europe is the first one to start regulating and helping us with the safety, which again, could become an issue, but thanks to what we've put together, is not.
I just can say one thing. AI is maybe interesting right now, and it looks like a magic thing, but it isn't. Again, that's for everyone. AI isn't magic, and AI won't solve all the problems. Also, right now, again, I'm happy about the regulations, but if we're looking at AI and its progress and its role, I am I will be opposite of you. AI can give us many good things, but also many bad things. And we can look at the beginning about what data goes inside the AI programs. We don't talk enough about is the data good. We have, the algorithm is good, cool, let's see what will be your future. But if the data is biased, the algorithm will be bias from default. And one thing is the regulation, about we, again, super happy, but we need also to think about the data which goes inside. Many different papers show that if the data is biased, which is biased, for example, we can look about an IT company, what will be the recruiter, who will get the job? It's possible to be a man, because the data from previous history shows, the men usually get the job, so the man will be a better candidate.
I don't think we are opposite.
No, we're not opposite. But one thing that's really important is that the AI Act is based on transparency and trust. So the data coming in is actually what we talked about, audit companies that are going to audit the data coming in. And you're absolutely right. That's why Jowita as well is right. We're not at all opposite in this sense. But what comes in comes out. So it's really important to have an audit of the data, of the quality of the data, of transparency of the data. We know where it comes from. We avoid all the bias that could exist. And we're here talking about gender, where we can talk about races, we can talk about religions, we can talk about a lot of things. And that's why the AI Act is together. So I think the three of us can say we all agree on the fact that data is the blood, is the DNA of any AI tool.
One tick which struck me during the discussion was centered around deep fakes. And Kilian at one point said, actually, if we had to apply the regulation, eventually the deep fake would be perfect, and that would be the ideal outcome. So in a way, it's what Aiva was saying, which is AI can be good, can be bad, and with the AI Act, I think we're trying to strike this balance, also the balance between regulation and innovation.
But if I could
yeah,
just
sure.
suggest, there's one thing that's really important today. I'm a judge on the Edison Award, which is a very prestigious awards for startups in the US. And out of 147 startups that I had to evaluate, about 130 projects was around finding out whether the content was coming out from AI authorship or not. So for example, deepfakes or whatever, a lot of startups today are working to say, well, hang on, this is the voice, this is the face, but actually it was made by AI. So what I like is the balance is, whenever we see something going bad, for example, cybersecurity, we also see the good coming up at the same level, because we have to combat and make sure that at least we're always at the same level. So both of them feed each other. And this is where I'm quite confident, and I'm always an optimistic. So I can take it if you don't agree with me. But that does, yes, I'll let you finish.
I would add another angle to it, which is education. Because regulation is one thing, but the challenge we are dealing with on the NGO side and on the company side, that we are talking here about really, substantial things, while half of the people around, they do not know nothing about AI, and they do not even use it yet with all the possibilities it has. So, and especially we're talking in this case, we can regulate it on one side, but we can tell people that they exist and what are the elements of all of it. We are in a very special year this year, because almost 4 billion people will go voting this year. And this voting will have an influence on all of us everywhere in the world, which is incredible. And the AI, which new release has, especially generative AI, which new release is coming every 2 weeks, so it's better and better every basically 2 weeks, can already not only plan one deepfake episode, but the series of deepfake events, which has consequences and which is built around achieving, someone completely new on the level of the president, and it can deliver it already itself in the hands of bad people. So the educational level is extremely important for all of us, because we have to teach people how to understand what is possible.
And that's our role as AI, DigitalEU Ambassador, especially in AI, absolutely.
I know we're running out of time. I want to ask one final provocative question. There's a list of banned use cases for AI. Which do you think is the first one that will be allowed at some point in the future?
speechless on this one. I think the one I'm the most worried about is social scoring that you can see in China everywhere, where you can use data in different type of environment to be used for or against you. That I think is very scary. The one that I see will be used, to be honest, I don't have a crystal ball, but maybe my two colleagues here would know.
Oh, I would say usage of these possibilities in war. This is it can have the biggest amount of consequences. We've already seen it in the Ukraine war, that it is on the war start, living in a separate level, so we can switch off the country. From the electricity perspective, for example, within the year, you can poison people, and fragile medical data usage by, black hats, for example.
I would hope none of them will be official, but I also agree it probably would be something with war, because I think the Europeans are too loving of their freedom, that they would really protest for something, even if it's for the greater good. Because if you look history and the culture things, we are more individuals, we are more working on ourselves. While, for example, China is more like as a group, we are as a group. So as a group, they are ready to take it on account. But I think Europeans are more like, we are also thinking about the greater good, but we are also thinking more about ourselves. So social scoring, I don't think so, but the war could be, because we are really not afraid, but we want the best, and sometimes the best takes also maybe not the best practices to get the best.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.